Data, or information, is held in loads of different ways. Nearly everything in our life is recorded, whether it be buying a car or surfing the internet. However, with so much information on each of us, how do we keep it safe? Who can look at the data? Is the data correct?
Hold on. Something wrong here. That should be a chap.
Can the data be bought or sold? And how long can the data be kept for? The answer to all these questions lie in a document called the Data Protection Act. It's basically a document that contains a list of rules that companies must abide by if they want to keep data. But first things first, a little background. Firstly, each company or organisation who collect data and use data about you must appoint a data controller. That is a person within the organisation that gains permission to use the data. This is done by registering with the Information Commissioner, who they must tell what data is going to be stored, what it's going to be used for, whether it's going to be passed on, whether it's going to leave the UK, and how it's going to be kept. It's the Commissioner's job to make sure the controller sticks to his answers, as well as generally enforcing the rules of data protection. The rules are set out in 8 key principles. Number 1. Data should be collected fairly and lawfully. This means that you should be told when data is being collected about you and what it will be used for.
For our joint protection and training purposes, calls may be recorded. Details you provide, including sensitive data such as medical conditions and convictions, may be shared worldwide.
Number 2. Data can only be held for the reasons told to the Commissioner. So what would you consider to be the pivotal data at your organisation?
As for an insurance company, we will need names, addresses, date of birth and medical history.
Number 3. The data collected must only be what the organisation needs. Hi, I'd like to join the library today.
Okay, that's fine, but first of all I'll have to see your medical details.
4. Information held on you must be correct. This probably happens to you every year when the school sends a letter to your parent or guardian asking them to sign to say that the school system has the correct details. Number 5. Data should only be kept for as long as it's needed. Take for example your school. They won't keep names and addresses from pupils from 20 years ago. Number 6. You have the right to view any information held on you. However, you must apply in writing and pay a small fee, usually about a tenner. Number 7. Data must be kept safe. This includes keeping it away from employees who don't need to have access to it and protecting it from getting lost. Finally, number 8. Data cannot be transferred outside of Europe unless the receiving country has similar laws to the Data Protection Act. However, there are times when these rules don't apply. If the data is being held to detect or prevent a crime, it can be held without telling the person. Any tax data being held is also outside the principles.
I'll have some of that.
A doctor could also refuse access if she or he feels it would be harmful to a person's physical or mental health. Personal data, for example marks held by an examination authority, can also be kept secret. Finally, if the data held is in the best interests of the country, it can be held without telling the person. Data is everywhere, and its collection is clearly an important part of how the world functions. While you don't need to know the processes by heart, the subject is likely to crop up on an exam, so make sure you're familiar with the basic information covered in this video. For more information you can visit the URL below.